What's up, Internet? SB here for the Marduk Report, and today I want to talk to you about one of the best builds I did over this past summer. So, I know summer was a really long time ago, because if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's probably pretty cold, or starting to get pretty cold where you are. But if you want to think back to an earlier time in the year when things were still warm, you could go outside in shorts and still be okay if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Again, this build, which I call Project Evelyn, was built for a friend whose name, as you probably would guess, is Evelyn. She's a friend of mine. She is a really good designer. Link to her work. And she runs her own design firm, and she has been using the same iMac from like 2015 with an i5 something, I can't even remember, 16 gigs of RAM, a terabyte not even the SSD, I think it was a terabyte hard drive, and then the external terabyte hard drive, and who knows what for a graphics card. But basically she was complaining that it was so slow that she couldn't even keep Photoshop and Illustrator open at the same time, which is rough when you're a designer, especially if you're a designer running your own firm and running your own business. Like, you need to be able to multitask. So I proposed to her. I was like, hey, if you need a new computer, like, let me know and I will definitely build you one that's plenty fast and that will last you for the next foreseeable future, at least in 3 to 5 years. And she thought it was a great idea, and so from there I sent her 2 PC part picker lists, which are basically the same, but one was Intel based and one was AMD based. The build that she decided on is that she decided she wanted Intel with an NVIDIA graphics card because she's also getting into motion graphics and 3D design. So she wants to be able to use other renderers outside of the one built in the C4D. So Octane, Redshift, Arnold, which are all basically NVIDIA GPU bound. So I said, okay, that's what we're gonna do. One of the things to note about the 2 PC part picker lists that I sent her, especially pitting an i9-9900k against a Ryzen 2700X, keep in mind that Ryzen 2/the 3000 series of Ryzen processors was only announced or in like leak stage at that point in time. So we're talking, again, May, early June. So there was no releases, no specs. So there was really nothing to go by, and I didn't want to prolong this build any further. I was like, we will just base the build on what is available right now. So that's why I didn't have a Ryzen 3000 series processor in the PC part picker list. So for the parts, we have an i9-9900k, probably the best consumer processor you could have gotten at around, when was this? This was in like June. Asus ROG Strix E-Gaming Z390 motherboard. That is a lot of letters. The RAM, we went with 32 gigs of g.Skill Trident Z 3000 megahertz kit. For the GPU, I went with a Gigabyte RTX 2080. Again, remember the time that this was built, the Supers had not actually been launched yet. So your options for a high-end graphics card were either going to be an RTX 2080 or an RTX 2080 Ti. And the budget just didn't allow for those extra 2 letters. So RTX 2080 it was. For storage, we went with a ADATA SU800 Pro 1 terabyte for SSD, and then an SX 8200 Pro from ADATA as well, and that was a 512 gig NVMe drive, and that was going to be for the operating system. For cooling, we went with a Deepcool Captain 240 Pro. We also went with Deepcool RF120 fans to replace the stock NZXT fans. And that brings us to the case, which is an NZXT H700. For the monitor, it's a Dell 35-inch. I don't remember all the letters off the top of my head, but they'll be on the screen. For the power supply, it was a Thermaltake Tough Power Grand RGB, 750 watt, gold rated, so plenty of power for this system. I think that's it for parts. Oh, and the mouse and keyboard were to come later. She was gonna just supply whatever she wanted for herself. So I decided I would not actually include any of that, just let her pick something that, whatever she was comfortable with. The actual build of this computer went really fairly smoothly. The only hiccup that we, and by we I mean I, ran into was that the VRM cooling on the top of the motherboard was actually hitting the AIO bracket that's on the H700, the top mount bracket. So I had to do a little finagling to get the AIO to actually mount properly. A little bit of trial and error, but I eventually got it. Everything else with the build went really, really smooth. The cable routing on this case, oh, oh, so good, so good. And it just made doing this so easy. So easy, in fact, that one of the things that I was asked to do was actually build the system at her place instead of building it here. So I basically built the whole thing in a night. Building in a night also leads to one of the major drawbacks of this build, and that's benchmarking. And by benchmarking, I mean lack thereof. Yeah, I didn't actually get a chance to benchmark this because by the time I was done, it was like 1 a.m. I had started at like 9 p.m., I think. And I was just dog tired, and I wasn't going to keep her up any longer. So if I ever get a chance to go back, I will get benchmarks, I swear. But I mean, honestly, like, it's an i9-9900k, even running stock with an RTX 2080s. I don't think we really need to see numbers, right? Like, we know that this is a powerful system. You know it, I know it, Evelyn now knows it. Like, we don't have to do this. But yeah, this build just was a lot of fun to do. One of the reasons why I went with the Cooler Master. Why did I say Cooler Master? Didn't do anything Cooler Master. One of the reasons that I went with the Deep Cool fans, both on the cooler and for the extra set of fans, was that because she wanted a very specific color theme, and it was kind of almost this vaporwave looking color scheme. It was blue and kind of a purplish pink that she wanted for pretty much all the lighting as much as possible. So using the Asus software, this was a really easy setup with these all of the fans, and it came out really nice. And by really, I say really a lot. By really nice, I mean pretty much spot on, like exactly what she was thinking about. And if you don't believe me, well, lucky for you, I've got some B-roll footage of the finished build. So since completing the build, I have reached out to Evelyn a couple of times, and we've talked about how the build has been going for her, and she said it is amazing. Her productivity has gone up because she doesn't have to close applications to get work done, which is really nice. And she loves the build. She thinks it looks amazing. Her partner, I think, also likes it, but it is, they work in the same room, and now Evelyn has this massive 35-inch monitor along with a giant desktop case on her desk, so they can't really see each other unless one of them stands up. But they'll live. This is definitely the best build I've done over the summer, but I've been steadily working on another build, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get it done before the end of this year. Thank you all for watching. Likes, subs, that kind of stuff. Share, especially if you like this video. That would be really, really helpful for me. I'll catch you in the next video. Go treat yourself today. You probably deserve it. Peace.